What's going on here? All right, we are live yet again. We are here with jimmysong. Jimmy, what's going on?
Well, lots of things are going on. I mean, look at this place. It's crazy. Everyone's like walking around. I've been talking nonstop for like 3 hours. I'm gonna have to somehow save my voice, but you know.
What have you been up to? It's the class that you run. You're selling
So
tickets to the class.
I do have that class, but I've been at this table selling my book and signing it for them, and it's I've been proving that I can that I signed the book, and anyone can prove that I signed the book without a blockchain. Amazingly, it's kind of crazy. You don't need a blockchain. You could just like have a PGP signature, and that's enough, right?
No oracles, no blockchain, just jimmysong in person.
No, it's just you have my PGP fingerprint from my Twitter. You can download. I take a picture of the signature that I write, and then I sign the SHA-256 of that picture, and that's what I have PGP sign. You can go download it afterwards. That's no blockchain needed. No blockchain needed.
So I know you're secretly a huge Monero guy. No, what is
everyone? How else are you going to be a fan of Monero?
That's the whole point.
The idea of Monero is that you have to be a secret fan. If you're a fan,
I'm the one guy. I'm the idiot wearing the shirt.
Yeah, I mean you need to work on your OPSEC, buddy. OPSEC.
So what is your current take on Monero? I've been listening to you for quite some time. I listened to you kind of in the earlier days when you first started with Tone Vase. And one of the things that I started to become a little disillusioned with in Bitcoin is the fact that maximalists seem to be okay with Bitcoin not being fungible at the core protocol level. It used to kind of be a concern, and now I kind of feel like it's turned into, well, we'll figure that out later.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what level of fungibility. Like, if you want perfect fungibility, then you're going to need perfect privacy. And in order to get perfect privacy, there's like a theorem that says you either know exactly how many of the supply there are, or you get perfect privacy. I forget what the rule is, but something like that. Provability.
Binding.
Oh, yeah, perfectly binding versus perfectly blinding. So I personally think that as a store of value coin that Bitcoin is, perfectly binding is much more important, right? Like you need to be absolutely assured of the 21 million coin limit, and that's a choice that Monero's made. It's chosen more to go with the perfectly blinding, and I respect that. But there's always the possibility that some elliptic curve math might be broken or something like that. So I don't think we're going to get to the fungibility that Monero's going to have. I mean, you might get it in a side chain, but you run the same risk. But at least it's voluntary. You go into that side chain knowing that it's possible that more may be issued, and at some point it's going to get cut off on the way back. But yeah, I mean, some degree of fungibility I think is there, and like side chains already kind of do that. If you go into Liquid and come out of Liquid, no one's going to know it was you. To some degree, Lightning has some level of privacy. It's not perfect fungibility per se, but all the in-between hops don't really know. So, I mean, I think people care about it. It's just not as of a high a demand on Bitcoin because I think the primary use case is store of value. And for store of value, scarcity is number one. You do not compromise that in any way, shape, or form. Fungibility is a nice to have. Privacy is a nice to have, but it's not necessarily like the big thing everyone is looking for. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it definitely makes sense. But I mean, even gold, right? Because that's obviously the most easy analogy we make. Gold is most.
I'm live right now. Sorry.
Gold is most certainly fungible, right?
So
every atom of gold equals every other atom of gold,
not exactly.
Okay, so you don't think it's a core tenet of sound money? You don't think?
No. I'm just saying like gold isn't exactly fungible. So, for example, like this is something that I learned at like studying gold when I was working for Paxos. is that you have gold bars, right, at a vault, and they're all supposed to be 400 ounces, except, of course, they're not all exactly 400 ounces. So crappy bars that are a little under 400 ounces trade for a discount. Bars that are a little over tend to trade a premium. But it's not only that.
Well, the gold itself is every atom of gold equals every atom of gold.
Yeah, but in practice, it's not really easy to get there, right? Like you can get 99% pure gold, and that trades at some price. But you can also get 99.99% pure gold, and that trades at a premium higher relative to the atoms of gold. So, and why? Because it's harder to make 99.99% gold versus 99% gold. So in theory, atoms of gold should trade, but because of the physical limitations, the actual practical fungibility isn't actually there as much as you would think. So, I mean, like, yeah, that's just the one point I wanted to make. I'll let you finish your question. Sorry.
No, it's a good point. So, but does that mean on a theoretical level, you don't think digital cash needs to be fungible?
Well, so depends, right? What's the use case? What are you using it for fungibility? If you want privacy, there's probably good enough privacy using certain things. If you want, absolute untraceability of any kind, like it's degrees, right? And unlike decentralization, privacy is definitely degrees of privacy. It's how much do you want to make them work to find you? And like perfect privacy does not exist in the real world. You always leave something behind. In the digital realm, you might be able to do a lot more hiding, but you still leave crumbs behind for people to see, right? Like whatever you use, even if it's a VPN service, somebody has a warrant or wiretap on the VPN, you're gonna get found out on something. Perfect privacy is just not possible. So it's always about degrees. And, we could get like this degree of privacy by giving up perfect binding. But, you could get like 90% of the way there without it. I'd rather go for the 90%. So it's a trade-off question, really, and not necessarily like, is Bitcoin against it? If we could get everything for free, yeah, of course we'd want it. But it's a trade-off question for me.
Yeah, I kind of see privacy, not so much. It's fungibility that's the core there, and then privacy just is kind of a byproduct of it. I'm
more concerned about.
No, I'm certainly a believer in privacy, and I like the fact that Monero can be used for that. But I kind of fundamentally believe that digital cash needs to be fungible for it to work in its best form, so that every transaction that's sent equals every other transaction that's sent in terms of a protocol. So things can't be censored. Because that's really what the invention is at the end of the day, right? Kind of the censorship-resistant value transfer protocol. So why not make it as censorship-resistant as possible?
Yeah. So so practically speaking, what we've seen in the market is that Bitcoin is pretty fungible, even without all of the privacy features that Monero has. I think it was Safety that looked into, okay, well, who actually trades Bitcoin at certain Bitcoins at a premium or certain Bitcoins at a discount? You couldn't find anything. Only thing you could find was there were some really paranoid hedge fund people that were willing to pay a slight premium for freshly minted Bitcoins because they have no traceback, no taint whatsoever. And, I guess there's a case to be made that might become more popular if Bitcoin becomes more popular. As far as the market goes, and
like even with, not to interrupt, but even with this recent hack, if somebody, if you wanted to go trade Bitcoin today for $1, would you accept those Bitcoin from knowing that they came from, they were hacked coins, stolen coins?
Well, if
somebody paid for your class, and you clearly knew it came from, the coins that were hacked, would you accept those coins?
I'm not going to go on the record with this, but I say if somebody were in a position to take Bitcoins without knowing,
But that's the thing. You shouldn't have to make that ethical decision. When I give you $100 bill, it doesn't matter that 3 persons before me used it in a bank robbery, or we got it from a bank robbery, or used it for some other crime. You accept it as $100 bill, and it doesn't come along with any ethical decision.
Well, so I'm saying if I had a good OPSEC setup, then yeah, of course. I'm not sure I have that set up well enough. It's not a moral discussion necessarily. It's more about how good am I at like making sure. And yeah, I get your point.
But it just shouldn't even be something you have to think about. When I give you $100, you accept the $100, not having to think about where that money came from.
Yeah. Well, so even bills are somewhat like not as fungible, right? Like you're
right, but
aware,
there'd
right?
be no way to know. If I give you $100 right now, there'd be no way to easily know that I just stole it from a guy on
Unless you happen to be
5 blocks away,
who marked the, like you happen to be friends with the policeman who marked all the bills before they gave it in a bank robbery or something. Yeah, I get that.
It allows commerce to flow very seamlessly because of the fact that it's very fungible.
Yeah, and I am for that. Don't get me wrong. Making that as absolutely as easy as possible, with compromising other stuff, without the trade-offs, I'm all for that. Problem is there are trade-offs, and privacy is impossible anyway. So it's like you're never gonna get there unless you happen to be a computer program from the future, time traveling or something, right? Like it's not gonna be possible. So yeah.
From a cryptographic standpoint, do you think we will get closer? Is that really a fundamental problem? Perfectly binding, perfectly blinding? Is that kind of do you feel that's a law of nature that can't be overcome?
I think it's a math theorem, if I'm not mistaken. So if that's the case, then the trade-off clearly isn't worth it for me, because I don't want some advance in mathematics to dilute my Bitcoin, basically. So at this point, I would say, the market seems to think that the level of fungibility that Bitcoin has is enough. Now, with the Binance hack and things like that, there are pissed off people, and there are probably exchanges that won't take it. But you give even a slight discount, people like Peter Todd will buy it, and without any hesitation, because he believes that if you're going to give me a discount for it, yeah, I'll sell some of my other coins, but I'll keep these, and I can do whatever. And if that premium is worth washing through whatever he needs to do it, then that's fine. So I mean, right now there's a cost associated with that fungibility, really, and I think that's fine. I mean, you can do that, or you can, I don't know, shapeshift it to Monero and shapeshift it back, which is probably going to be the fee anyway. So, all right, it's it's all a matter of trade-offs. The evidence from the market seems to be that people don't value that much. Maybe we haven't been burned enough yet.
Maybe we haven't had that moment yet.
Yeah, and at a certain point, maybe it gets valued more highly. And at that point, maybe we can talk protocol changes. But at this point, I just see it. Yeah.
So your class, you want to talk about your class a little bit?
Yeah, so I teach a 2-day class. We're going to have one Thursday, Friday next week. And it teaches Bitcoin. A lot of the material, honestly, I put in the book that I just published with O'Reilly, Programming Bitcoin. But yeah, it's a very intense class. I take programmers that know nothing about Bitcoin, and I teach them all of the protocol level stuff. It's a very intense class. It's a lot of information, but people love it. And I've taught over 500 people. That's what my talk tomorrow is going to be, is my learnings from that. So yeah.
Wow, you've already 500 people. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's a lot of demand out there, right? Like there's a lot of people that want to get into this industry. They know can get paid. They're programmers and this stuff. So I actually think one of my former students contributed to Monero, if I'm not mistaken, wrote a blog post about something that he was doing. So yeah, it's totally, I mean, kind of crazy how many people have taken it, and it's a good chance that if you work for a Bitcoin company, I've probably taught somebody in your company.
Are you considering expanding into other protocols in terms of what you teach?
Probably not. I mean, I do know enough about the Monero protocol that I could probably make a small class out of it.
Oh, come on, you'll get some people.
Probably could, but I mean, just from the time and trade-off perspective, I've got a lot of different things right now, and I don't. That's not something it's going to be a good bang for my buck or my time right now. So yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, the best of luck. Thanks for giving us your time and giving me all these genuine answers.
Well, thanks for having me on.
All right, man. Thank you. I'm gonna go talk to the sock guy when we're still live over here. Hey, how's it going, man?
What's going on? How's it going?
Good. So you're the official sock provider for the crypto world?
For the crypto space, yeah.
You want to show us?
Yes. So we've released 2 new ones today: Dogecoin and Litecoin.
Is that your biggest seller?
Doge. It's been the biggest seller today. Today it has.
Really?
Doge and Bitcoin, obviously. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Digibyte, and of course,
Digibyte.
Monero.
So how'd you choose these? I mean, I see Monero and Bitcoin.
I chose them because of the communities that they have around them. And Digibyte has quite a large following on Twitter.
So the socks could be an indicator of growth in crypto. So are these essentially what you see as being kind of the top coins in terms of community?
Yeah. I mean, because that's what sells really is the community. So a lot of the community, big Digibyte fans, love the socks, which is great. Again, Monero, same huge community. Bitcoin, obviously, Litecoin just launched, and Doge is obviously doing well so far today. But today's the first day that we've launched these. So
awesome, man.
Yeah.
So where can people get a pair?
So get them at cryptos.com. So spelled with a K and ending in a Z, or Amazon.com, Amazon.co.uk, Etsy, eBay, or at Magical Crypto Conference this weekend.
Cool, man. I'm in. I'm getting a pair.
Cool. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, sir.
Monero.
All right. I'm going to sign off.